I'm the Norwegian Tinkerer. Welcome to my channel. In this video I wanted to share my collection of buck folding hunters. And the reason I want to do that is because I think they are the most beautiful knives that I do have in my knife collection. And I have some traditional folding knives, slip joints, and I also have quite a few old fixed blades. But there's something special about the Buck 110 and the Buck 112. Like many of you, I have also some fond memories of this knife from my childhood. And that is why I wanted to share this knife with you all, as so many before me has done in their videos. And there is a reason why so many people are so attached to this knife. And this is a knife that is loved and also hated by many. But whatever you think about the knife as a pocket knife or a tool today, it is, I think, a beautiful knife. No matter what, you may think that it's an old-fashioned knife and it's not a practical knife today because of the two-handed opening and closing. You can, of course, remedy that partially by putting on, for instance, a thumb stud that makes this a one-hand opening knife, but still you need two hands to close the knife. If you want to do it safely, there are of course ways to push down and push this against your leg or against the table or whatever, but still I consider this with the thumb stud to be a one-hand opening and a two-hands closing knife. So you may say it's not very practical, it's very heavy, but still there is something special about the Buck 110 and the Buck 112. And it is, in my opinion, the quintessential folding knife. It is historically important because when it was released, it was kind of a revolution, being a folding knife that could do the work of a fixed blade, because of the way the mechanism locked the blade, and it made it a very sturdy knife that you could do. They said that you could do whatever you could do with a fixed blade. It's almost like a fixed blade, but you also had the opportunity to fold it and put it either in a sheath that you had on your belt, or just leave it in your pocket like this, and it would take much less space than a fixed blade will. So from what I understand, when it was introduced in 1964, it became an instant hit and has been since then, I believe, the knife that has defined what a folding knife is. If you say a folding knife or you say a buck knife, most people will probably think of this brass and wood clip point blade, and everyone will have some kind of memories attached to this knife, either having a father or grandfather or whatever carrying it, or they have, as I do, some great memories from my childhood with this knife. And I never thought of this as a heavy knife. I actually thought that the weight contributed to the feeling of quality, and you felt like you had a substantial tool in your hand, so that the weight, and still to me today, the weight is not really an issue. I love this knife, and I think that no matter what the modern knives that they make and new steels and all, I love, and I have a lot of that too, but there is some special place in my heart for the old Buck 110 still, and I carry this knife quite a lot, even though it is, at least for these and this one, they are made with the old school 420HC steel, but it is, as you all know, the boss heat treatment on them makes the 420HC perform very well, and it's a knife steel that is, it's a simple carbon steel, but still the way that Buck heat treats the steel, it is quite a good steel. And I mean, you can just strop it a bit more often and you're good to go again. So it's an easy steel to maintain sharp. It just takes a little bit more work than the new super steels. But Buck doesn't only use the 420HC in their knives. They are also producing knives in the more modern super steels, and they have been for quite some years now. And they have been using steels like S30V, which is a great steel, and I think S35, and like this one. This is, I think, a rather rare Buck 110. It is, as you can see, with a clip point blade. It is nickel silver bolsters, or should I say frame, because the bolsters are integral to the rest of the knife. And the inlays are burlap micarta. So you can see that this one looks a bit different from the traditional Buck, the 110. And this one was made especially for, in a, I think, a rather small batch. And the blade steel, and this one is CPM 20CV, which is a super steel. And it says on here, let me take it the right way up. Yeah, you can see the logo of Boss, and it says CPM 20CV. So it's a great heat treat on a great steel, which makes this one have all the edge retention of a modern folding knife, but still in a format of the old traditional Buck 110. So that makes this quite special to me, because I know it's got plenty of edge retention and it's got the good looks of a Buck 110, but it is still, I find myself actually carrying this one more than this one, and I don't know quite why. It may be that I like the traditional clip point, the way it looks, more than the drop point. You can also see that the drop point doesn't have the nail nick, and the thumb stud is just something I put on it to make it a one-hand, let me see, opening knife. But the way it came from the factory, it was just to pinch the blade and open it. You don't really need the nail nick, but it makes it look a bit different when you see these two beside each other. I don't know, it feels that the brass and wood feels kind of warmer than the nickel silver and burlap micarta. But I must say, I enjoy having this one in my collection, because I know it's a knife that's rather hard to get today. And you can also get a Buck 110 with super steel if you order it from, let's say, the custom shop from the Buck websites, they do now make this one in the new in MagnaCut, the new steel made from the guy behind the Super Steel Nerds website, who is actually it's a doctor in metallurgy, and he has developed a steel that is both tough with high stainlessness property, and on top of that it's quite it has quite a good edge retention. So he has found a compromise in that triangle that seems to work very well, because it is like you have to choose which like two attributes you want. If you want stainlessness, or do you want toughness, or do you want edge retention? You have to give up one of them to get the two others. But MagnaCut seems to do all three rather well, so that's why it has become such a popular knife steel among a lot of producers today. But however, if you get this one with a MagnaCut blade, that is for me the best from two worlds. You get the old traditional looking knife, feeling knife, but with a blade with modern edge retention, and there's also a rather tough and stainless steel. So if you're willing to pay a bit more, you can go to the custom shop and make your own knife directly from Buck. And then there is this one, the Buck 112, which is pretty much just the same as a Buck 110, but a bit smaller. But it does have its own kind of looks. You see, it's not just smaller, it's quite different. You see the clip point is it's more upswept, and there's also a bit more of a finger guard at the front here. But other than that, you can see that they are pretty much identical. But I must say, I like the way the 112 looks. It is a bit small in my hand, but it's just big enough, and it weighs a little bit less than the 110, and it is quite a bit smaller actually when you see them together like this. It is quite a big difference actually between the two. So which one you prefer is totally individual, of course. This one, it's a bit bigger. I think better for a bigger hand, but this one, it is really all you need actually. You don't need, in most instances, you don't need more blade than this, and it is quite comfortable, although the handle is quite a bit smaller. But however it is, I just wanted to share these knives with you because they are the most beautiful knives in my collection. At least that's what I think. And I would like to hear from you if you like, or if you don't like them. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think about the Buck 110 or the Buck 112. Maybe you prefer the more modern looks of the nickel silver and the drop point, Maybe you have some memories from your childhood. So please leave a comment below and let me know about them. And until next time, goodbye.